Hi, welcome back to Amanda Loves Sense and Books. I'm going to go over the books that I read in February. I didn't read as many. We had a death in the family, so it's just been a hard month, but I will let you know the few books that I read. And one book that I forgot to put on January's wrap up, I'll let you know that book, but here we go. The one book that I forgot to put in January's wrap up was Never Never by Serena Valentino. It was book 9 in the Villain series by her. That book is about Captain Hook and how his story tied in with the rest of them. I won't go too far into that book because it would spoil some of the rest of them, but I am caught up on that series until the new one for Hades comes out in June or July of this year. The next book that I read in the month of February was A Thousand Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. I read that on my Kindle. I cried. Like, if you want a book that is going to make you cry pretty much from the beginning of the book until the end of the book, read this one. It's about a girl and this guy that have been friends since they were little, and this guy moves off, and they said that they were going to keep contact, and one day this girl stops keeping contact with him, and then he moves back and he finds out why. You will bawl your eyes out to this book, I'm telling you. Look up triggers for this book, of course, because it is a tearjerker, but yeah, I cried from beginning to end for that book. The next one I borrowed from my library was A Taste of Poison, 11 Deadly Molecules and the Killers Who Use Them by Neil Bradbury. This is like, say, insulin is a killer. There was a couple other ones on there, but that was the first one we learned about. You learned about 11 different ones and how, like, people used to try to hide that they were using these medicines when they wanted to kill someone off. And me being a diabetic, I was curious. I'm like, what is this? What is this book about? And I read it, and it was pretty good. Or I listened to this one partly on audio and then read some of it. But it was a pretty good book. I rated it a 4 out of 5 because, not everyone's going to want to listen to them spell facts and everything, but it's not just facts. Also, it tells you, like, a story of how someone used this to kill someone and how they tried to cover it up and how they found out that they were trying to cover it up. The next one that I did listen to this one fully on audio. I got it early because I was on a hold with Libby through my local library, and they had a skip one. I had never gotten that before, and I was able to skip the line of like 400 people or something. So I don't know if this will always happen because I've got holds for other books, but this one was Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing by Matthew Perry. It's basically his documentary or biography of how he got the role of Chandler and how he dealt with all of this stuff behind the scenes of Friends. And I'm like, you would never know that this was going on with him playing Chandler, what was going on, when you would notice, like, he would be heavier set or he would be lighter set, and you would find out what is going on behind the scenes of Friends during that, and then what happened afterward and how he got the role of Chandler. It was a really good book. I rated it a 5 out of 5. So if you're friends or you're a fan of Friends, definitely listen to it on audio or borrow it from your library. I think I want to go get the physical copy of this one and just to have it on my shelf so I can go back and reread it. But yeah, the one I listened to was told by him or read by him, so that was really good. The next one was Scarlet by Marissa Meyer. This is the second book in the Lunar Chronicles series. I want to get the next one, which I think is Crest, but this one picks up basically where Cinder left off, and she is in here, and then you get introduced to a couple more new characters. This one's kind of a Red Riding Hood retelling. There's a guy named Wolf in here, and then Scarlet is one of the main characters, and then there's Cinder is of course in here. But I don't want to go too much into detail because it'll ruin the first book, but this is the second one to that one. And then I saw a Facebook thing, or maybe it was on Instagram, of somebody talking about the West Memphis 3, and of course it was in like 93, and I was like 4 or 5 years old when that happened, so I don't remember all of it, what happened back then. So I was like, well, I want to learn more about this. And so I checked out, they had it on Libby, and I read and listened to the audiobook of The Devil's Knot, the true story of the West Memphis 3. What's her name? Maria Leverett, I think that's how you say her name. It was really good, and it's like, how do I not remember some of this? But I was a young kid. You know, I grew up about 30-45 minutes from where this happened, and you know, I live still 30-45 minutes on the other side of the river, because I lived in Arkansas growing up, and now I live on the opposite side of it. But it just, like, the story tells you of basically how the cops thought that the kids did it, and the ones that were convicted. And I don't think, just from listening to the book, I don't think that they did it. I think someone else did it. I think that the cops and the judge covered it up, or covered up who did it. And I want to read the rest of her books that are by her. I'll have to see if I can get them from my library, or find somebody who does have copies, because my friend, she says that she might have some of them. And then of course there are movies based on the Devil's Knot and the West Memphis 3. So I do want to watch those and have a better perspective of the case. But I think it'll be interesting to dig into this one. I did rate it a 5 out of 5 stars. I did start The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I think I got it behind, no, I don't have it behind me. It's on my desk, or my nightstand. I haven't finished it yet. I'm about a little over 100 pages into that one. And then I started Sisters Behaving Badly on my Kindle. And I'm listening to The Good Fight by Jana Kramer and Mike Kokoskin, I think that's how you say his last name, on audio through Libby. So I've got like 3 books for March so far, if I finish them. And we'll see how March goes. I typically don't stick to a TBR, so you don't see too many TBRs other than a yearly one that I would like to finish this year. It's just because I'm a mood reader, and I don't want to stick to one TBR. It's hard for me to stick to one, so maybe one day I will, but there's just so much I'm like, I want to read, and not enough time to do it, being a mom. But I hope y'all have a good rest of the day, and if you would like, please subscribe to my channel, and I would love to see y'all here. Y'all have a great day.